Okay, that's the recording. Got that. And then now let's share my screen. And what is the name of my screen? Hebrew School Tonight, I think. Okay, I think that's my screen. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to here. Okay. Okay, now can someone tell me before we get started, do you know, did we leave off on chapter 7 or chapter 8 last night? Or last week, I mean.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Just let me take a quick look, but I think we might have gone to 8.
That's what I thought.
Let
I
me
wasn't
just,
sure how far
I think we did. Hold on.
Mickey, I think you're too organized. I can never figure out where we are, which books we're out of.
Yeah,
And
we
I
did
know I
chapter
asked
8.
Madison to explain it.
Okay.
I think we did chapter 8, but not chapter 9.
Okay, good.
I
Okay.
thought
We said
did
we would
chapter
do
7
the
and
Shema. No, we talked about the commandment. We talked about the mitzvah. We did that. We did that.
Know,
and
okay, because I know I brought 2 chapters last week. I did, and I know we left off at 6. So I thought we were on 9, so that's why I did 9 and 10 for tonight, but I did 8 just in case. Did anybody have a question on 8 that they wanted me to go back, or did they like this is mitzvah, right?
mitzvah, yeah.
And I think
That's mitzvah. It looks like mitzvah to me.
oh, mitzvah, you're right. Sorry, it is mitzvah. My eyes are super tired. You're absolutely right. It's mitzvah. Jeez Louise. Maybe you guys should teach me tonight. And then because yeah, it's one of those nights. I did notice that my eyes have not been so good lately. So I told my husband I'm gonna have to go back to using my big, super huge monitor. Okay, so yeah, we did seat, right? I remember doing seat now. Seats.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Okay. So we did, and then hatikva, we talked about the ha in the beginning, how the ha means the. And the reason why I want you to remember that is because that helps you figure out where you need to break your words. Now, I did say something incorrect to you last week. And I want to clear it up just a teeny bit, not much, because I don't want to confuse you because we're not there yet. But one of the things we talked about was, remember we talked about the shavas in the middle of the word? Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I did say that when we were talking about word fragments, that sometimes there was a shava at the end of the word. I thought there was one up here. There was a shava maybe at the end of the word. But I said that you will very rarely see shavas at the end of the word. And just like in Hebrew, you should never say stuff like that, because in my class the other night, there's a whole category of words that have a shava at the end, and I totally forgot about them. So for the most part, shavas will be in the beginning or they'll be in the middle. But there is a category of words at the end, and when we get to them, we'll talk to them. We're not going to talk about them now, but there is a category of words that have a shava at the end, and I'll explain that when we get to them. But for the most part, right now, most of the shavas are either in the beginning of the word or at the end. Okay. But I just want to let you know that the never thing or almost never isn't correct. Like, I just totally forgot about that category. And so, you know, oh, well. Okay, so let's go on to chapter 9 here. Okay, so
I Madison, I have a question. It's about the letter Tav without the dagesh. And is that pronounced with a T, a hard T, or a TH?
okay, so when you in modern Hebrew, meaning even modern biblical Hebrew, okay, so meaning not 2,000 years ago or not 1,000 years ago, the tav with the dagesh and the tav without the dagesh are absolutely pronounced the same. Okay, in in ancient Hebrew, there was a little bit more of a guttural sound because it was more of an accent. So, and there is one other person for this. There's one other reason for the dagesh in the tav, and it's a grammatical thing. And I'll just say really quick, I did give you a paper on it. I think it's in one of those papers. There's a thing called the doubling dagesh, where it means that you actually, instead of them writing it twice, it means that there would be two T's in a row, like hit tight would be hit tight, but instead of writing it like hit and then tight, they write HITIT, those sounds, and they might put a dagesh with a dot in there, and that means it's a double dagesh. So that's something we'll talk about when we get there. And there is another grammatical, and I hate to tell you this, it's called plutonic reduction. So, and it is just a grammar thing. And when they put the words together in a certain way, they use a dagesh in some of the letters, and that helps show you that the word used to be something a little bit different. But when they changed it to make, the endings like you are, we are, he is, she is, stuff like that, they had to do this reduction in order for the word to make the word to work. So to answer your question, for the most part, when you have the dagesh versus when you don't have the dagesh, it doesn't make any difference in the sound. Now, I am going to tell you one other little thing. So, because right next to it, we have the bet, right? And the bet, we need the dagesh, or we don't know whether it's a bet or a vet, correct?
Yeah.
So there's a concept, and it's called the beged kefet. And all it is the fact that there's certain letters like bet that when it gets a dot in the middle, that's how we know it's a B versus a V. And here we go again. Here's our kaf. How do we know the difference between more of a C sound and more of a hard K sound? It's the dagesh, right? So there's those letters that change so that you know that they could go one way or the other. So those are just a little bit of things. And I think the easiest way to learn those is as we go. You'll see. But for the most part, in this level, except for vet and kaf, when there's a dagesh, there is no change in pronunciation. Shin and sin has the little sort of dot above the top. And that changes it too, but it's not, it's just which if it's a s or a sh. So does that help a little?
Yes.
Okay, I know it's a little more than what you needed, but sometimes you have to do that. And now when we go and review that later, you'll be like, hey, I remember Madison telling me that. Okay, now if Madison can get her computer going, I'll talk myself in.
I was just going to say, when I learned it years ago, the one without the dagesh was a sin. No, tough and soft. It had an S sound.
Oh, well, but that could also be because of the Ashkenazi pronunciation.
Yeah, and I'm sure that is.
Oh, geez Louise. Yeah, I need to do this differently next week. I thought, I'll get away with it one more week, and I forgot my computer doesn't like it. Okay, so everyone kind of probably can figure out what this word is, right? It's not as big as I'd like it to be, but actually, maybe I should open it. Here, does it open? Let me download it and try to see if that works better. So did anyone catch that word on the top of chapter 9?
Yes.
Okay.
Shema.
Yeah, exactly. That was Shema. So the things that we tell little kids when we want them to listen, or when we say our Shema prayer, right? Okay. And so we recognize all these words, right? Bet, tav, shin, mem, lamed, kaf, hey, resh, kaf, vet, dalit, aleph, vet, vav, kuf, sadi.
Where
And-
are you?
Oh, on the first page at the bottom of the page right here. Can you see my, oh, you can't see me. Never mind. Hold on. It's doing the not share thing again. Let me share the correct one. I realized it doesn't, I have to switch my screen. That's the problem. I found a better screen for you, but I have to switch my screen. Okay, stop presenting, present again. Okay, here we go. Present again. Where's that at? Come on, stay there. Let's see if it'll. Sorry, guys. Come on. Nope, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. We'll go back to this. Okay. I tried to actually present the right screen. So now let me try presenting Hebrew School tonight. Okay, I tried again. Hebrew School tonight. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm back. So it was down here. Sorry, I was reading the letters down here. I couldn't get it. I had opened it up in Adobe and I keep forgetting it doesn't like it when I do it that way. Okay, but my main thing is the vowels here. So we have the patak, the kamats, and the shava, right? And then we have, does anyone remember what this next one is after the shava?
Hataf Batak.
Exactly. And what's the next two? Does anyone know what the next two was? Do you remember?
Sharik.
Here, yep, Sharik or Hirik, and then here, Sharik, what?
Yod.
Yep, Sharik Yod. Okay, so that's your E or your E. So, as I mentioned, sometimes you can get a really weird pronunciation, but I looked through this book, and most of the time, you're just going to get a really clear, longer E. So just think about the mouse thing and then just think about holding it. There are some other pronunciations, and I talked about this week, but for most of this book, this is a straight Hirik or Hirik Yod. So, okay. Okay, so we have the ayin, and the ayin makes what sound?
Nothing.
Silent.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Absolutely. The ayin makes no sound unless you are like a Yemenite Jew who lives in Israel today. They still have a little bit of the, it's just like a pressure, like a sound that goes through. So, Shema, it's really interesting. I can't even replicate it. But it's a throaty, guttural air swoosh, I guess is what I would call it. Okay, so let's tackle, let's start at line 3. So can someone try line 3? Anyone?
Linda, are you talking?
No.
Okay.
Can
Oh,
you hear my
okay.
husband's
All right,
television?
I'll do line 3 then. So would that be E
Yes.
or A?
No, it'd be
E.
yeah.
E, C, he,
Yeah. He.
he. Key or he?
He.
It's not guttural.
Because it's koof.
Key.
Yes. Key.
Koof, right?
Yes.
Key. And that would be a short
Correct.
ha,
Yep.
ah.
Okay. Okay. So, who wants to try line 4?
Let me just ask, Mickey, can you hear my husband's television? Is that why you thought I was talking?
No, I can't hear the television, but I can see that you're taking in some kind of sound. That's all I can see. I can't really hear
I'm
it.
going to move around. I'll move to the other side of the table and see if that takes care of it. Usually I sit
can
on
just-
the other side. So
You
but
can
I don't
just
like,
mute.
well, I don't have my video on, but I don't want Madison while I'm in Hebrew school to see all my pigs.
Oh.
So, all right. Is that better? Is it quieter, Mickey?
It's fine. It's great.
Okay.
Okay, so Linda, do you want to try the next one, or Donald? Who wants to try line 4?
Okay. I can do it.
Okay.
Of, Ash, Eve, Ma, Ba.
Okay, great job. Tov Mayod. Donald, how do you feel about trying line 5? Did I lose him? Huh, I don't know if I lost him.
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
I'm
good.
just,
Okay.
I was,
Okay, good. If you need help, let me know.
I need help.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so let's break this one into 2 syllables. So the first one would be sa, and then the next one would be what? The second half would be what? So put that together.
Saha?
Perfect. Sa. Okay, and then
Okay.
Donald got the hard line, so you're going to break this syllable right after the kuf. So you're going to have that hard kuf sound. Yeah, so you're going to have your ka, and then you're going to have ra. So try to put that together.
You just did Kara?
There you go. But no, you put it together.
Uh,
Okay, and then try the next one.
oh, yeah. At?
Yes, exactly. Good job. Okay. Okay, can you try this one? This is the same thing as what we learned right up here. The Hirik Yod.
Ye? Year.
Ear, perfect. Ear, yep. Okay, and then how about the last one?
Yala.
Okay, so no Y. I heard too much of a Y sound, so I wasn't sure if I'm just hearing that or missed it, but it should be more Allah.
Oh, Allah. Okay.
Yes,
I did.
exactly.
You did hear the Y sound.
Okay, so there we go. So that wasn't too bad. We did pretty good there. Okay. Okay, a lot of reading, guys. Sorry, that's the only way to do this is a lot of reading. So, who wants to, John, why don't you try line 1 again? Because this is some of them again, and it gives you a second chance.
Great.
Do you need help breaking it up?
Yashi? Or the Ashi?
Ashi. Yes,
Yeah.
ashi. Okay.
Atar?
Okay. Now just more of this tav hirik yod.
Oh, Atir.
Ati.
Ati.
Ati. Perfect. Okay.
Ava.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
is Sadi. This is the so your first sound is what?
Sa.
Yep. And then now the ayin doesn't make any noise, so it's the actual hirik yod. So it's
Sai.
sa
Sai.
sa'i, correct.
Ma.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
And Ta'a.
Correct. Absolutely. Okay. So, who wants to go next? Mickey or Linda?
Aren't we all enthusiastic?
I know. This one's easy. Or you want to skip and go to the hard line, the next harder line?
Oops, sorry.
Okay. So line 2 is, I guess I'll do it and you guys can repeat after me. It's all, right?
All,
All. And it's ava.
ava,
Yep. And ad
Odd.
ad,
and ra
Ra.
ra,
and ear.
Ear.
here,
Yeah, because remember it's the heuric yod, it's E. So it's E and
E.
an ear. Okay, and it's R.
R.
So that's like your pirate sound, your R. Okay.
That's funny. That's what I was just thinking.
Like a pirate? Yeah.
Yeah, like the pirate sound.
Yeah. My third graders had a really good time with that word this weekend. It came up for their words too. They're like, ooh, pirate, haha.
Well, that
Okay.
shows you where I am.
Okay. Okay, line 3. Now, how do you want to do this? Do we want to?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Ba'ad, da'at, ata, ra'ash,
Okay.
ba'al,
Okay.
avar.
Okay. Did everyone follow along with that?
Yes.
Good. So no one has any questions. Everyone followed along with that. Okay. Okay. So line 4, we have, is this Shema?
Yes.
It is. That is correct. So I'm just making sure you're following with me. Okay. And we have another Ra'av, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we know how to split this. How do we know how to split this word? When we're trying to break it into syllables, how do we know this is Ra'av instead of Rav?
Because there's two
Consonant
vowels.
vowel.
Yeah, 2 vowels.
Consonant vowel.
Correct. Your consonant vowel consonant patterns. Perfect. Yep. You caught it. There's a ra in the beginning. Can't do anything about that. You have an ah. You can't have 2 vowels in a row. So we have to be able to go ra'av. Okay. Okay. And someone want to try the next word?
Sa'ir.
Yep. So we have sa and we have ear. So it's taking the ayin, heuric yod, and to make one sound, the sound of E. Okay. So the one thing that I want to teach you, remember I told you we're going to learn eventually how to find a root word, like what the root is. And so I'm already trying to like say, if you have a ha in the front, you know that's not the root. Okay. One of the things when this is aleph or this is ayin. Okay. So if you have an aleph or an ayin in the middle of your word, it usually always, and I'm going to say usually always because there's probably an exception I forgot, but it's usually always part of the root word, which means that this has to be the beginning, sa, ear. Okay. It has to be there. So it's consonant, vowel, consonant. So you know how to say it, sa, ear, because that has to be part of the root word. I don't know if that helps. We'll see it more often. And then after a while, it just intuitively will make sense to you. Okay. And someone try this next one because this is an odd combination.
Taka.
Absolutely. Taka. Okay. Let's just skip down to the pain point here. Okay. And then we'll work our way back up. Okay, let's go to line 6. I think line 6 is the hardest. So let's take a look at these. And look at, when we started, guys, look at how many letters you have in a row here. These are getting to be some words. So if you ever think you don't think you're getting, or don't think you're doing enough, look at, you're in really big words now. Okay, so let's break this first word down for 6. So,
Ifrit.
okay, Eve,
Ivrit.
Ivrit. Absolutely. Now, how did you know, Donald, how to break that word up?
It just kind of came to me when I was looking at it, and I thought, Ifrit, yeah, Hebrew.
Yes. So that's one way. And use that when you can. One of the things is, we remember, again, as I said, we have the advantage because we're adults and we have been listening to Hebrew either in our childhood or at synagogue or wherever. So we know that, but there is a grammar way to know how we break this word up. So what is the grammar way?
The Shiva
Exactly.
is a
The Shiva is breaking it up, so we know it's Eve, and then we know this when you get the syllable breaker, the next syllable starts right after the word, right after the letter that has the Shiva under it. And so then here's another. The second word is R, the R sound, E and T. So, okay. So someone else try the next word.
Ma'ariv.
Okay, so we have Ma, and then we have R, and we have the Eve, right? So how did you get that? So we have Ma. You're right, but I'm trying to
I'm sorry. Okay.
How did you know where to break it up? So
I did consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel.
Okay, so you had the Ma and you knew the Ma had to sit, right?
Right.
And then you got to the ayin and the aleph and you made what decision?
I believe that the aleph was silent, so I went right to the vowel. So it was ma with a short ah.
Okay.
And then the hirik yod is a combined vowel, and then vet.
Yep.
So
you eliminated the first one. You're like, oh, that has to be one syllable. Then this had to be the next syllable. And then you had your reeve, right? Ma,
yes.
reeve. Yep, exactly. Okay. Here's another example, Linda. Say this one and then tell me how you figured out where to break up your words.
The Kia.
Okay. And
because of the sharik is a syllable breaker.
okay, so
underneath the tav.
right, so you have
Not
your
the sharik.
the shiva.
Shiva.
Yeah.
Shiva. Okay. I finally figured out what they all were without looking, but
Okay.
I just got confused.
Yeah.
And then the kuf, that's a kuf, right?
Kuf, yeah.
With the yod is another consonant vowel with the yod afterwards, and then the ayin with a vowel.
Yep. So you went through, you eliminated the first one, you figured out where your stuff was, and you broke it up. Perfect. Now, does anyone ever remember where we hear tekiah?
Yes.
Yeah, it's at the blowing of the shofar.
Absolutely. Right. So tekiah gadula. Absolutely. So now you're getting to the point where you know enough letters that you are going to start to really, like Ivrit, you figured it out. Ma, reeve. I had to say that slow because I knew I was going to mess it up if I said it fast. And then tekiah. So you are now starting to the point where you know enough letters that you're really going to start to be like, hey, I've heard that word before. Okay. And who's next? Donald, are you next to try this one?
No,
Or
I thought
who's
Mickey was next.
Oh, is Mickey next? Sorry, Mickey, you're next.
Which line are we on?
We're on line 6, the second from the end.
The second from the, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Amida.
Yeah.
Amida.
So now what, we have
like
to
the
all
Amida.
stand?
So now you have to tell me how you, besides the fact that once you said it the second time, it clicked, and you're like, "Hey, I've heard that word." How did
That's one
you
of the
figure out-
prayers.
Yeah, how did you figure out how to break that? If you didn't know, how would you know to break that word up?
So I just I use the consonant vowel, and I mean the the first letter is silent and a short a, and then I combined the mem with the hirik
Yo.
yod, and then I knew that the last letter is silent. Not yes, it's silent, right?
That's correct.
And the dalit and Kometz.
Yep.
That's how
So-
right.
So, and the reason why I'm pointing out this word is because even though there's a lot of silent stuff like DAH, you're like, wait a minute, we don't say the last word, but it still is consonant, vowel, consonant. So Amida. That's why some people say Amida, because it's mem, hirik, yod. So we technically have a consonant, vowel, consonant still, right? And then we have a consonant, vowel, consonant. So even when it seems strange that it seems like, wait a minute, Madison, we don't say this part, or it takes the mem and the hirik yod to get the me, it still follows the same pattern. Do you see that? So a lot of times, unless it's a prefix or a suffix, which we haven't talked about yet, and I don't think we even touch suffixes in this book, maybe once. It's still, again, you guys are noticing those consonant, vowel, consonant patterns, and that's really important. And that's why you're pronouncing things very well. Okay. And we have someone want to try the last word in that line?
Ka'ara.
Ka'ara. Okay. So who wants to try to read line 8?
Shema.
Yep.
Tashme. Tashma.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's an E. So Tishma, right? It's like the E sound, like the mouse. So yeah.
Shemayim. No, that's the next one.
Okay.
Shemiyat.
Shami'ah. Sha mi
Me.
ah.
Oh.
Yep.
And the next would be Kyria. No, Kyriah. Kiryat.
Yeah. So Kariyat. Exactly. So we've got that K there with the Shava on it. So we know that sound is by itself. And that kuf with that K type sound. Sometimes if you need a little bit of an E to get the sound to be able to say it, like sometimes it's hard to say kari. You can't really do a k without a little bit of a vowel. Does that make sense? So that's again where sometimes people will say it and it'll have like more of an A or an E sound because they just need something to get to the kriyat. Okay. So that was good. And what about the last one again?
Shema.
Perfect. Okay. And then we did 6, I think, right? So does someone want to do 7?
Sha'ava. Avadti.
Yeah.
Shiva. Shiva.
Yeah.
Atika. Amida.
Okay. So say, just do the second to the last, just because I didn't quite hear it right.
Atika.
Tika. Perfect. Okay. And then what was the last one again? Just because I was focused on the second two.
Amida.
Amida. Okay, perfect. Okay, Mickey, did I think you did? We didn't do line 5, right? Why don't you do line 5?
Rakia,
Yep.
Atir,
Check that one more time.
Tid,
Yes.
Shir,
Okay.
Arba,
Okay. Arba. Yep.
Atik,
Atik. Yep.
Ivri,
Ivri. Okay. Now just go back to this one in the middle. So, she.
Ashir,
It had just a little bit more of an E sound in it. The E, right? Like the mouse thing. Ashir. Yeah.
Ashir.
So it's really close to when we're going to say Ashray, but we're not there yet. So Ashir, Ashir.
Ashir.
More that E sound. Yeah, I just did it too. Ashir, Ashir. I don't know. When you put those together, it kind of sounds weird. So anyway, okay. Well, we did a great job on those. Okay. Now, I think we were done with that. Let me just double check one thing here. Except for I keep making you guys sick to your stomach. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. There are some exercises. I'm not going to go through them, but they're for you to do on your own. And only because it's really helpful to reinforce what we just read. You're getting to the point where you're going to need some reinforcement of the material because it's, as you notice, your words are getting longer. So in a way, you get lucky because you might be able to recognize a word or be like, oh, I know that word. And that's great. But on the other hand, we're also getting to the point where if we don't work on the combinations, right, we won't be able to, we won't remember some of the ways we're breaking up the words and some of the ways that we're making sounds. So if you get a chance and you can go through those exercises, take a 5 minutes, go through them, that'd be great. I'm going to just touch on this and then I'm going to actually go to another page a second. Okay, but chapter 10. So does anyone know what the title of chapter 10 is?
Navi.
Navi. So we've heard when we sing a song, we say we have Eliyahu Navi. So Eliyahu, who was a what?
Prophet.
He was a prophet. So that means Eliyahu the prophet, right? Eliyahu Navi. And so now you've learned another word. So we are not really adding any new vowels, the same vowels, Hirik and Hirik Yod. So we're not adding any vowels. Why is it so off to the side right now? Oops. That's weird. Okay, let me do this. For some reason. Okay, so I'm going to show you this one thing and then we'll go to the other thing. Okay. Come on. It doesn't like me today. Okay, down. Okay, so final noon. I just want to remind you of what this looks like again. So we have the noon right here, okay? And that's the first letter in Navi, right? And then the final noon basically unwraps and makes itself long and tall. So I always, again, remind people when you think of a noon, if you unfold the bottom like it's standing up, like this is a nun on her knees, when she stands up, then she's tall, okay? And it's kind of like that hat. I don't know. Whatever visual works for you. So what go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So when you look here, I want you to see where we have the kaf, patak, and final noon. The only way that you're going to be able to tell the difference between like a vav up here, our final noon, and some stuff is it goes below the line. So when your letter ends in the vowel area, see how the vav doesn't, then you know it's a final letter. Okay, so that's really the big thing that you're going to be able to address it is how far does it go down? Does it look like the end is going down to where the vowels would be? And then you know you have a final letter. Okay. Did you have a question, Linda, or you were going to comment?
No. I was just going to tell you when I looked at these this afternoon after you sent them, I saw that and it didn't dawn on me. That's how spacey I can get. That NUN was the consonant. I thought you were giving us the word for none, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I realized it took me about a minute.
And that's why I think it's like a nun. That's why I picture a nun on her knees, because it's the word nun is kind of when we write it out. And when you think about it, you know, those old nuns that would have those flying caps or those big hats, it just reminds me of that. So, and then when they stand up, they're tall and they tower over everybody, right? So, or at least in my nightmares. So just so you guys know, after my mom died when I was 6, I went to Catholic school for 1 year. So I don't know, maybe that is a nun phobia from when I was a kid. So we're going to do one other thing in a minute, but I just want to show you. So on line 3, we have a final noon. So we have lawn, right? And then we have another final noon, dawn. And then anyone want to try this next one on line 3 in the middle?
Mean.
Yep. And kol amim. So you're going to meme, you're going to hear all the time. Like that's going to be like in tons of words. Okay. And the next one.
Ron.
Okay. Yeah. And then anyone want to try the next one?
Mean.
Mean. Yeah. And how about the last one?
Con.
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 Con. So, okay. So I am.
Can you do,
Go ahead.
Madison, before you leave, can you do the first word on line 5?
Sure.
Is it Shanane?
Okay. So it is. Okay. Yeah. So let's break this up. So we have the she, right? And then that has to be the first one because now we have a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant ending with the shava. So this is why I kept telling you that this would have been a word fragment because usually it doesn't end like this with the shava. And so I was saying that because indeed this is a word fragment, but it's, I just wanted to clarify that that won't always be the case. But yes, so it'd be she, non, because you need that consonant, vowel, consonant ending. So it has to be she, non.
Okay. Okay.
And if that, just so you know, and if that is a real word, I have never heard of it. Now that's not saying much, but you know, it's, that's a very odd pattern. So my guesstimate is that it's a vowel, it's a word fragment, not a full word. Hey, but before we go, someone try this second word to the end on 5.
Haveen.
Okay, haveen. Okay, that's great. And what about the last one, just for giggles? Because it starts
Elah.
Elah, exactly. Okay. Okay, so we will go back to this. We'll go back to this later, but I want to you can go ahead and read up, but it'll be the same way. We're still breaking things up, but I don't want to do too much reading. You are going to learn some. We have the kav, the line that you're going to put underneath there. So there are some exercises. And then don't forget, if you need to know what the words are, a few chapters back, I mentioned to you that there are, and the titles of your chapters, that's where you're going to get your words. So hopefully if you do this section, making meaning without cheating, And that's okay if you cheat. I'm just saying that you should know these words because we've learned every chapter, we've learned these words. So that's just a way to quiz yourself to say, hey, did I really learn any of these words? Well, hopefully you have. Okay. The only one you have to remember is they, and they is a little bit different because it's a word fragment, right? And I think we've talked about vase. Okay. Does everyone remember what I mentioned about vase?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So when we have they, we're talking about and this and that and this and
And.
that and this and
Uh-huh.
that. Yeah. So, or it could be but this or, so, but it's basically like 100 ands in a row if every time they put a V. Okay. So I wanted to show you this before we go, since we only have a few more minutes. Okay. So now, okay. Just one of the things that I wanted to show you too is don't forget to once in a while, if you get a chance and you're trying to challenge yourself, take a look at this and see if you can figure out what any of these words are. Okay. Just some of them, like this is probably a share right here, right? Or, this could be, we have, could be L, could be, just take a look and see if you remember, if you can see anything that looks familiar. Just because if you can start to recognize words in different types as you're learning, it just makes it that much easier. That knows, then you can really say, hey, wow, I'm really getting this. Okay. But that's not what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you was this. So on the right side, we have this first word. So can someone read this first word on the top on the right side?
Hello.
Talan.
Okay. It's halach.
Allah.
Yes. And the reason why is because this is a final letter. So when the letter stretches to the vowels, you know it's a final letter. Okay. Now, if you can try to read them first, that's great. But if you go to this side and you're caught, or you want to, I always tell my students, cover up the right side with a piece of paper or with a, cover up the right side with a piece of paper or your hand and try to read it on the left side first. And then, so say you did come up and you're like, oh, I didn't really notice. That looks like halad, which it could be halad, right? Especially if you can't see it on the screen well. And then you go over check yourself and you say, oh, it's halach. That's not, I didn't have that right. I was close. So that's all I'm saying, that this is a good way. I hate it when this does it. Thank you. This is a good way to help you double check your pronunciation. But the reason why I give you these sheets is this. These have what we call word families. Again, I mentioned that before. And so we have halak, which is to go and wander. And then hit halak, which is to walk or stroll, and hit halak el ha'omin, el et ha Elohim, since I can't pronounce anything today. Okay, so they're all different versions of walk. And the one thing that I still don't have a good answer in is how they got halacha from halach. I'm still, I've asked that question and they told me to look it up in a certain spot. So I am supposed to look up that answer on my own, apparently. So when I get that answer, I'll let you know. But these are word families. So halak nafesh is temperament, and temperament I know has to do with the rules and the way you move and stuff like that. So, there's a whole thing on that. But I'm just saying these are word families. So this is a good way to not only practice your reading and learning, exposing you to new words, but then here's the check. And then here's the related words. So that's why I've included these pages. And don't forget the Torah portion. So, and then
Madison,
yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
The title of this page is Lech Lecha.
Uh-huh.
And But if I look at the Hebrew words and if without any vowels, I have trouble getting that.
Okay, you actually have, that is a really wonderful question. And you have actually stumbled on to, it's a whole big discussion, but it's showing how the vowels and the pointillation makes a huge difference. And you're totally correct. Technically, they look exactly the same, but this is lech and this is laka. And it's only because of the way they do the vowels. And I have to, let me see, is it down here? Let me show you down here. They should, did they do it down here? No, they didn't do it down here. Oh, and I am, anyway, and I don't have it with me, but Nikki, can you remind me? And I actually, I have from my rabbinical school I'm taking for my darshan training. There's a whole thing that shows how they move a couple little things around and you get lek to lekha. So, because
Okay.
it's typically a la and a ka sound, right? So we get that. And then it's got like, I just can't remember if it's got a sagol under the first one, but then the second one doesn't one. The second one has a lamed, and then it's got the kaf, and then it's got that at the very end. You're going to find out that's going to be one of your first suffixes you're going to learn, because it's going to have a kamatz at the very end after the kaf, or after the final kaf. So it's all about a vowel change, and it makes all the difference. So how that word can change from go forth to yourself is like a sagol here and a kaf and a final kamas. And it's because of the suffix. And there's a whole, actually, there's pages and pages and papers written exactly on that question, but the grammar, we'll just focus on the word part. But if you remind me, I just got to pull it up because I don't want to tell you it wrong. It's just a slide I can show you. So, but it's very fascinating. And yes, you don't know, you would not know if you were a beginning person and this is all you had to go by, which is why they actually started pointing and adding these symbols and adding the vowels to the Torah, because they were losing their Torah scholars so fast that enough people didn't know these things. And so you can imagine if you thought this said go forth twice in a row, that might not make sense. You'd be like, why would you say the same word twice? And if it because like I said, they didn't have a rabbi to stand by them sometimes and point out to enough people, wait a minute, that's two different words. That's lek lekah, and this means go forth, and the other one means yourself. Then they would lose the language. So you can imagine there's other things like that in the Torah where you move a vowel someplace and it changes the whole entire meaning. So they came up with vowels, they came up with accents, they came up with different things so we could make sure that we didn't lose the true meaning of the Torah. So that's a very, very good catch. So, okay. So anyway, so I haven't showed you this in a couple weeks. But the couple little things, fun things I want to show you is when you go to Israel, I know it's kind of small, but they say, see you again. You'll say, people say lehitarot. So there's the phrase right there. It's a super long word. So if you want to have fun trying to figure out how you split that up. Now, the thing I want to show you about that is, do you see the lamed has the shava underneath it?
Yes.
Okay. Now look over here in the transliteration. When you have a letter with the shava, a lot of times when we're trying to split it up in English so we can tell you how to do it, do you see what we put right after the L sound?
Yes, an apostrophe.
Yeah. So we're saying, hey, this is a separate sound. You can't go on to the rest of the word. You got to say this sound by itself. And the same thing with re, right? And the same thing with ra'aya. Okay, the same thing. Whenever we usually have a shava with a letter, if you're translating it, you need to make sure you have that apostrophe because that's your clear sign to people to say, hey, we are breaking up the sounds of this word. This is one half and this is the other half. Okay, so the other thing is, then there's Haye Sarah. That's got another one of those weird ones in it. And all the words that have to do with life. Okay. And then full dot was a couple weeks ago. There's all those words.
Iranian-backed militias in both Syria and Iraq. Now, this is the
And
first
then
time
Gaeta.
the
So,
U.S.
okay.
airstrikes in Iraq.
So I'm going to stop the recording.
Bowman, the self-defense strike resulted in several enemy casualties.
Okay.
Mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania that arrived on time.
Is everyone all set? I don't know. Someone's TV is a little bit loud, so.
Yeah, I think it's Donald.
Oh, someone's breathing loud?
No, the TV is a little bit loud. There we go. The TV. Okay. Okay. So is everyone all set? Does anyone have any questions?
No, are you done recording?
Yeah. Hold on. Nope. I thought I just stopped it. Why didn't it stop? Hold on.
Oh, no.
Sorry.